Hello, I'm Nancy. I wanted to thank you for watching my brachial plexus story. And so I wanted to just reach out and share some, I don't even have maybe tips or information because I know there's other people out there that have had a brachial plexus injury as well as myself. And I'm was a nurse for 45 years and I never took care of anybody with a brachial plexus injury. And so I really didn't know much about the injury at all. But so going back to July 22nd, 2025, I was learning how to drive my pony and cart. So I was in the cart, I had my instructor there and my husband was there and everything was good. And then all of a sudden I overcorrected in a turn, and with the speed, I didn't have a whole lot of speed going, but with the speed that I did have, when I overcorrected, I just slid right out of the cart. Like I could not stop the slide from this side of the cart to that side. And when I'm sitting in the cart, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is not going to end well. And so I ended up being thrown to the ground and I landed on my left shoulder. I did have a helmet on. I wear a helmet religiously when horses are present. And so I have always been an avid helmet wearer. I did have my helmet on that day. There's a lot of things that could have gone wrong, which and didn't. But so I landed on my shoulder, and the decompression of my shoulder slamming into the ground and my head going this way upon impact, the nerves from like C5 just were stretched from C5 to, I believe, T1. And so with that stretch, they start here, but they affect everything that starts here and goes all the way down. And when I landed on the ground, I knew immediately that I had broken my humerus. And within a few minutes, I started having tingling in my fingers, and it was kind of creeping upwards. By the time I got to the emergency room, which was an hour away, I didn't have any elbow movement. And I ended up having a repair of my humerus and had no movement of my fingers. I'm left-handed, so it was my left side was left hand and arm was affected. And so with that injury, I'm now 9 months out. So when I left the hospital, I had no shoulder movement, no elbow, no fingers, no wrist movement. And so I'm 9 months out now, and I've had great care. Now, this injury was compromised by lymphedema because I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I hadn't had lymphedema before, but with the injury, it just kind of, magnified all the lymph nodes that were removed during the surgery. And then I just had swelling that would not go away from shoulder to fingertips. I had great care throughout this whole 9-month adventure. And what I have learned is I feel like I'm one of the fortunate few that had a stretch instead of a severed, nerve, or either severed or an avulsion where the nerves actually just come out of the spinal column. So I feel like I'm fortunate in that respect that it was a stretch, so I am regaining some movement. So 9 months out, I have elbow full range of motion, almost full range of motion. I can't touch my fingertips to my shoulder yet, but so elbow is good. And then I have I have wrist movement this way and this way. And so my fingers were actually non-movable from July to about November. And I did get a couple of occupational therapy units to use at home. One was a robotic glove that just basically does this, and you can set different levels of bend with this robotic device. And something else that I've learned through all of this is doing therapy, 2 or 3 times a week at a facility is great. It gives you the background of what you need to work on. But if I only relied on those sessions that I did every week, I would not have what I have now. Early on, I spent at least 3 to 4 hours per day doing some type of therapy. Now I still do like 1 to 2 hours of therapy per day. And so it just takes that discipline, and you just have to do it. There's no other way to get, as much function back as you possibly can, other than use the pros, the people that know how to treat the injuries at physical therapy and occupational therapy. Let them guide you, but be disciplined to do as much as you can on a daily basis. And so I went to the occupational therapist, started August 22nd. I went to physical therapy on October 6th. I started that. Lymphedema clinic was September 22nd. So injury, July 22nd. Injury, July 22nd. Occupational therapy, August 22nd. Lymphedema clinic, September 22nd. And then physical therapy, October 6th. So that was my process of what I was working towards. I've been very blessed with having the correct people in my path to direct me. So that I feel like that's one of the reasons that I have regained a lot. So my fingers so this is my dominant hand. The good news is they don't feel I'm going to need a nerve transfer or tendon transplant because I have this much motion with my hand. Now with my fingers, because number one, the lymphedema made them pretty much immobile. Number two, I have arthritis in all the joints on my hand, which is also constricting my movement. And so what I have right now is this, and my thumb is that. If I try and spread my fingers, I'll tell you about the bruising there. If I try and spread my fingers like this, that's about as far as I can get. Now, 3 weeks ago, I had a closed manipulation of my joints under anesthesia. The doctor wanted to do something called a capsulectomy, which they make an incision from here to here, and they peel away the scar tissue and all the capsule that encompasses the joint so that it gives it room to move, gives the knuckles room to move like that. I didn't want to do something that invasive on the first time around, so I voted for a closed manipulation. They put you under anesthetic. They manipulated my fingers in surgery. He was able to make a fist with this hand with that manipulation. And before they put the anesthetic in, I asked the physician, if he could inject my joints with steroids while I was under, because I thought, well, this would be the proper time to do all that. And so he did. And so this is, it'll be 3 weeks tomorrow. So I still have bruising here. Now my whole, from about here to here, was bruised following that closed manipulation. So I'm hopeful that it is going to, get better over time, but it's still something I have to work with on a daily basis. Now I can move them. Let's see if I can find, I can move them independently and passively like that. The little finger is the one that struggles the most, probably because it's just the smallest. I don't know why, just because. And so I can move that. I can't hyperextend. That's as straight as they'll go. I can't hyperextend. And then this is the flexion that I have. So I just wanted to share my story. I know there's lots of people out there that have had these type of injuries, and would love for you to comment below. And if you have questions, or you yourself has had an injury, somebody that's had an injury, It's just doing a lot of therapy on your own at home. And I want to just give everybody, a positive outlook that every degree that you regain is important, whether it's, it's just like this little bit of a bend or this bend. I mean, every degree is important. The first movement that I had was basically just like this. And that was my first movement. And that was in September, from July to September. So comment below if you have any questions or concerns. I would love to reach out to anybody that has had difficulties like this in the past. What I want to do within this, one of the things I want to do within my YouTube channel, which is Nancy's Pink Beauty Lounge, I want to give people instruction on how to apply your cosmetics with a non-dominant hand, because it takes a lot of practice and a lot of mistakes, but it does get better. So be watching for my tips and tricks on that as well. I also have a video that I can post with all of the devices that I've purchased on Amazon to help me get to where I am today. So thanks for watching, and comment below, subscribe so that you can follow all the tips and tricks. Bye for now.